What is up, guys? It is Dope as J bringing you guys another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about Black Ops 7, a lot of my thoughts on what's going to happen with the launch of this game and moving forward into 2026 because they're entering a very competitive market right now, especially when interest for Call of Duty right now is at an all-time low, especially around this time of the year where people are just looking for the next big thing. It's the beginning of fall. We're September, and we're heading into the end of Q4 pretty soon. So these last couple of months is where a lot of the heavy hitting titles start to hit the market, not only from a multiplayer standpoint, but from a single player standpoint. So being able to capture the interest of gamers and get them to buy your game and play your game is very, very important during this point in time because there's a lot of releases coming out, right? So not only are you competing in your own genre, but you're competing in other genres of other games as well, right? So this is going to be a very interesting time of the year, the end of 2025, entering 2026, and I think that Black Ops 7, depending on what they do at Call of Duty Next, displaying that game and showing off the multiplayer, because that's the big event where they invite a lot of creators out there to play the game. They're live streaming this event. There's a lot of information coming out about the game and stuff. So that's the event where they're generating a lot of impressions. They're generating a lot of social media buzz around the game. There's a lot of content before the launch of the game being created during that point in time as well. So we're gonna see how the hype is gonna build from that event. Whether it builds or not, that's to be determined. You also have beta coming out like a week or two after Call of Duty Next. So Call of Duty Next is gonna be at September 30th, and that's gonna be interesting to watch. What do I think the game? How do I think the game is gonna perform? It varies, right? Because it's easy to get on here and get negative, right? But I want to be really, really realistic about the expectations of what this game is going to be, right? Because I didn't buy Black Ops 6. I looked at the game, I watched Call of Duty Next, I seen the trailers, I seen the gameplay, and it didn't interest me, right? And it's not only me, but a lot of other people didn't buy that game as well. And even though it performed really, really well initially at its launch, that game steadily lost a lot of players. A lot of people lost interest after playing that game after a couple weeks, right? And you can see from the player counts that the game just kept on losing players. And I said this before in my previous video in the Battlefield 6 versus Black Ops 7 video that the rabbit that they pulled out the hat to bring people back onto the game, especially for Warzone, right? Because Warzone's where they want everybody at, right? Was Verdansk. And I said like, hey, you bought that map back out of nostalgia factor, and it worked initially, but a lot of people still left the game after Verdansk, and you can see from the player counts that it spiked when Verdansk dropped, right? Like they had a huge player spike in its population, and then it declined. And if you know anything about the business of online multiplayer gaming and how they want to make their money is they want to be able to have a high monthly active user count on the game so that they can sell you skins, sell you bundles, and make a lot of money off of microtransactions, right? And what I explained in that video I made like a couple weeks ago was the fact that this time reminds me of 2013, right? Where you had Call of Duty Ghosts coming out, Battlefield 4, and GTA 5, right? And a lot of the interest was, taken by games like Battlefield 4 and GTA 5, thus reducing the player count of a game like Call of Duty Ghosts, and they weren't able to make up the money with microtransactions and DLCs in that game, right? And then with Advanced Warfare, you start to see them ramp up the microtransactions, right? They brought in loot boxes, they brought in weapon variants so that they can influence the meta of the game. And now the modern version of that is season passes, right? Battle passes, selling you on battle passes, selling you on blueprints, influencing the meta of the game in both multiplayer and Warzone to induce FOMO so that they can get you to spend more money in the game. And that's the psychology of it, right? And they've had over a decade of data and a lot of information on how to retain players, how to keep engagement high, but that isn't working now, right? And you can see a lot of the skins getting out of control, right? So I think that Activision, they have a lot to analyze, right, with where the game is at right now and how it's performing, and how to re-engage the players. And if you guys have been paying attention to a lot of the news that's been coming out from these different sites like Charlie Intel, Dick Serto, and stuff like that reporting on Black Ops 7, they're trying to put out a lot of the information about where multiplayer is at and some of the things that they're changing from Black Ops 6 to Black Ops 7 to re-engage players and garner the interest, right? But like I said, we're not going to know a lot of what the multiplayer really is going to be until Call of Duty Next, right? So September 30th, they're going to have their big event. They're going to reveal the multiplayer. There's going to be a lot of content creators out there streaming the game, putting their videos on YouTube, streaming on Twitch, streaming on Kick, TikTok. So that's really where they're going to start marketing the multiplayer. That initial reveal trailer didn't do them any good, right? Like, I don't think a lot of people are interested in the story of Black Ops anymore, right? That's a very small percentage of people. Back in the day, I remember back in like 2008, 2009, 2010, right? Like, you had this golden era of Call of Duty, started with Call of Duty 4 all the way up until Black Ops 2, where people were actually excited for the campaign of the game and playing that and also getting excited for the multiplayer, right? Now it's more multiplayer Warzone focused, right? And that's where the money is ultimately made, is from those two modes, and getting people to spend money on your game is the ultimate idea. But with the Battlefield 6 beta, like I said in my previous video, 20 million players, huge engagement numbers, the pre-order numbers are high. There's a lot of justified and real hype around that game versus when you look at Black Ops 7, it's very manufactured. You look at the creators who have always been on Call of Duty for years, right? You see them trying to build up hype. They get flown out to Treyarch Studios, right? And they're live streaming the reveal of the trailer. And you can see how artificial and how fake it all is. And like, I don't like to be too negative, right, about this, but I want to be realistic and let you guys know this game isn't set up to succeed in this market, right? And I said this before. Call of Duty is fighting a war on two fronts, right? Not only do you have to worry about Battlefield 6, right, stealing players away from your player base, right? But then you have something like GTA 6 coming out in the spring of 26. That's the game that's really going to kill the player base and the interest of Black Ops 7, right? And people don't realize this, right? Like, GTA 5 is still a top selling game to this day that's still charting. It's insane. The amount of money that they're making off of GTA Online, the amount of money that they're making off of selling copies of the game, that's the biggest thing, right? The way that you make money off of your live service model, you need players on your game. You need concurrent users, people signing into your game, always playing. You need consistent content drops, right? And if you look at the player count of Call of Duty over the past year, it's been a steady decline. And they reported this back in March of this year, how this is like they started to see the sharp decline of players. And now it's even worse here in September, right? Obviously, a lot of people have already done what they wanted to do with the game, but to bring the community back into your game, and you've seen all of the ridiculousness with skins and everything, and I'll hop in somebody's live stream and watch a video, and I'm like, what has this game become? This game has become a clown show with a lot of its presentation, and the tone of the game it's just not what it used to be, right? So I need people to realize that will Black Ops 7 succeed? I think its success is going to be in a vacuum. And if it is successful, it's not going to last really long, right? Like, you're coming out with a Treyarch game in back-to-back years. Black Ops 7 is a direct reaction to what Black Ops 6 was. And I don't know, like, am I interested in the game? Not really. I could care less. Like I said, I'm waiting for Call of Duty Next, that reveal event, and also waiting for beta. When it hits open beta, I'll try it out, see how it is. But other than that, I have no expectations. So you can't really disappoint me when you've already lost me as a player and as a consumer on your game. That's the other thing, right? Like, you still have a young generation of people who are gonna play the game, like how I was, a teenager last decade, coming up playing Call of Duty 4 all the way up to about MW2 2022, and that was really the last straw. I bought Modern Warfare 3, but I don't know. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. GTA 6 is gonna be the real game that's gonna steal all the Black Ops 7 players, not Battlefield 6. It's gonna be GTA 6, and you're going to see even worse player count numbers in May, June, July, August of next year, the summer of 2026. It's cooked for Black Ops 7, honestly. And you're gonna see a lot of these creators who are on this current game, they're gonna pivot to GTA. They did it with GTA 5. I'm telling you. You are going to see a lot of creators pivot. They're going to switch up and go to GTA 6. That's going to be their bread and butter. The same way when GTA 5 came out and a lot of creators hopped on that game, and then when RP came out and there was a resurgence with Grand Theft Auto 5 content on Twitch, on YouTube, and everybody on TikTok as well. You've seen a lot of the clips on TikTok. That's what's gonna generate the engagement, not Call of Duty. And I think that Call of Duty has lost so much clout on social media. I remember when Call of Duty videos used to dominate YouTube. And it doesn't dominate YouTube the same way it used to do back in the day. Same thing with streaming. They separated Warzone and the main Call of Duty game that's out in the year into two separate categories, right? So you have Black Ops 6 and you have Call of Duty Warzone. They're not even charting high viewership numbers on a daily basis, right? So I'm saying this to say it's going to be interesting to see how Black Ops 7 is going to fare in the market this upcoming year. And then looking at what Infinity Ward is going to do with their game in 2026. There's some rumors, there's some insiders saying, hey, a lot of the stuff that you think that they're going to fix and address from Modern Warfare 2 2022 is not going to be addressed. So we'll see what happens with MW4. To wrap this video up, I'm going to say this. For a lot of you guys who sit there and look for Call of Duty to be your main game every single year, diversify your library of games. Play different games. Play single player games. Play a different multiplayer game. There are other games out here that will hold your interest and that are very fun. I know a lot of guys that do nothing but play COD, and it's the saddest shit to see, especially when it's a down year. Play something else, man. Play a different game. But yeah, this is just a little bit of my analysis. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'm out. Peace.